Well, I'm glad to have you back. Well, the market is ending the week positive. Yes, 0.13%. Gainers, FTN, Cocoa International, Breweries, Sovereignings, Fidelity Bank, NGX Group. Losers for today, we have May and Baker, NASCON, Academy Press, UPD Credit, and RT Briscoe. Effiong Ekop is here, and of course, will take us through the African continent.
Tolu, it's very pleasing that the market turned
positive. I can see that smile.
Honestly, after about 3 weeks of trading in the lower territories, I didn't even expect it. And it's a cruising index 0.13%, reasonable. And we found big companies, gaining power. UBA, Transcorp, GT, Co, international bureaus, they are doing very well. Well, the volume is the problem. Volume is still very low, 137 million units. Value, less than 2 billion. That's not very good and for a weekend. But I think that the investors are looking back to the markets because of the value now that securities and even the bonds, now have. Because after the prices have been slashed down for a very long time now, it means that any given stock that you go after, you will be picking, with the very cheap price ranges. And so will we sustain this now, next week? I cannot stake my neck for it. I can't say for sure. So Nigerian markets breathing, in
yes, so green. It's all green.
First time this week.
Yes, yes, it's all.
So let's go to other African markets. It's not that rosy. Indeed, many of them are trading in the negative territory. Think of South African markets that is down 0.03%. We find investors, selling off government bonds and again estate securities. I think to make money out of their investment. The same attitude is recorded in Kenya, where market is deep down 0.53%. That's more than half of a percentage point. So Kenyan markets, investors also upload their securities and take money out of their investment. We know the pressure that many of these African investors are passing, through. When we come back to West African markets in Accra, Ghana, the markets resorted to its traditional flat transactions. And we know that insurance and banking securities in Ghana, they are under great pressure because of economic pressure there, making people to talk seriously and ask government to, come up with credible policies to enhance the value of the cities. So around Africa, you will say that things are not really rosy. Inflation is kicking in so many of other African nations, and investors are also bleeding. They are not having it easy. The dollar that is scarce in Nigeria is equally scarce in Ghana and many other markets, although they have different kinds of variables. So I do not know of their food prices, but inflation is also very high.
Fighting hard.
Yes.
So like you said, you're not sure if we're going to hold on to this for next week. The president has presented the budget to both assemblies. I'm thinking that looks like a bright one.
That the market will react to that.
Let's see the market will react to that.
We normally supposed to react.
Yes, because that would build investors' confidence.
They're really supposed to react. But you won't take the budget on its own alone. The budget will have to be measured along other variables. The variables of inflation, the variables of exchange rates that manufacturers, will go for. And then I do not know, I can't know exactly the percentage of performance of the budgets, the last one, the current one that we've done. So all of those things will be benchmarked before you see investors saying, okay, let's get into this. It cannot be the budget figure alone. After all, it's only a proposal. Do you understand? So it's only a proposal for now. And many things will have to guide investors.
Thank you so much, Effiong. We'll continue the discussion next week. There'll be a holiday on Monday, but definitely we'll do our job as usual.
It's like we are beginning to have so many holidays.
No. I think it's for our brothers and sisters, the Muslims.
Really?
Sisters,
okay,
yes, it's a celebration for them.
good.
It's over the weekend, but regularly the holiday is pushed to the next week.
So that will be on Monday?
Yes, Monday, yes.
That's reasonable. Right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
We will be here. We do our job now.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go outside our shores. Asian stocks declined on Friday, extending the global equity slide. to a third day as investors fretted over recession risk amid signs of further aggressive central bank policy tightening. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares declined 0.85%. Japan's Nikkei dropped 0.7%, pulling back from a 2-week high reached on Thursday. South Korea Kospi slipped 0.3%. Australian stock benchmark retreated 0.59%. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index was 1.17% lower in early trade, and mainland China shares remained closed for the final day of the Golden Week holiday. Japan's foreign reserves fell by a record $54 billion in September. That's according to official data on Friday. Global markets reduction dented the value of foreign bonds and prompted dollar selling interventions to address steep decline in the yuan. Now, according to the Japan's Ministry of Finance, the reserves stood at more than $1 trillion at the end of September, the lowest amount since the end of March 2017. The data on Japan's foreign reserves, the world's second largest in size after China, came a week after separate MOF figures showed Tokyo spent up to a record 2.8 trillion yuan intervening in the market last month. Samsung Electronics Co. Limited flagged a worse than expected 32% drop in quarterly operating earnings today as an economic downturn slashed demand for electronic devices and memory chips that got in them. Analysts say Samsung's memory chip shipments likely came in below already downgraded expectations, and prices could fall further this quarter as customers react to rising inflation, higher interest rates, and impact of Russian invasion of Ukraine. Samsung, the world's top maker of microchips, smartphones, and televisions, is bellwether for global consumer demand, and its disappointing preliminary results adding to a flurry of earnings downgrades and gloomy forecasts. Companies and consumers have tightened their belts, with memory chip buyers such as smartphone and PC makers holding off on new purchases and using up existing inventories, driving down shipment and ushering in an industry down cycle. Oil prices in international market rose today, and we're headed for a second consecutive weekly gain, supported by OPEC Plus' decision to make its largest supply cut since 2020. Despite concerns about recession and rising interest rates, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude recorded an upward price margin of 0.84%, selling at $89.19 per barrel. Brent crude futures sells for $95.17 per barrel, with an uptick of 0.79%. Bonnie Light maintains an upward review of 0.82%, selling for $95.63 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers offer $94.05, with an upsurge of 2.08%. Well, it's green in the Nigerian exchange and, of course, also green in the oil market. Let's see how we sustain all of these green and positive figures as we move into a new week. Thank you so much for being a part of our show for the entire week. We'll see you on Monday as we continue the discussion here. On behalf of the entire production crew, stay safe and stay with TVC News for the rest of our programming.